Yasher koach, Ami. It is not possible that I could love your Devar Torah more. The question of blessing and curse troubles so many of us, and we get tied up in knots about it, and you just made it very, very clear. With the help of Kli Yakar and Rabbi Bachya, you taught us that we have free will, we have choices, we can make choices. Our actions have more impact than we realize, and like a butterfly wing, our actions can tip the world toward good or bad, and even affect the future. And that's what blessing or curse is. So simple, so profound. You opened with the first verse of the Parsha, which starts with the command, Re'eh, see. One of our biggest problems as human beings is that we are so limited in what we can see. As you taught us, we cannot see the future. We cannot see the amazing 5-year-old or teenager or grown-up that Ida Jean will become. So for now, we just have to imagine it. We also cannot see what is very small, the cells inside of our own bodies which sustain us, our DNA, which determines so much about us, the bacteria in our microbiome, which I hear is very important. We cannot see the subatomic forces that hold us and everything together, but we trust that they're just going to keep doing what they do. We cannot see what is very big, the 100 billion galaxies where we live, even our galaxy, even our one Earth, even our city, even our neighborhood, even a single city block, we cannot see with our own eyes. We cannot see thoughts, even though we know that they influence actions. We cannot see spoken words, even though we know that they influence thoughts. We cannot see trees communicating with one another, even though we know now for certain that they do. We cannot see what is happening inside of another person's mind or heart, even though we can be affected by their mood if it is strong and near us. We cannot see the effect of a butterfly wing on the other side of the world, even though we know that its effect reaches that far. We often cannot see the effects of our own actions on other people, on the world at large, on the future of the world as you taught us, and so we often underestimate them. We cannot see the oneness that we're a part of, the interconnected, interdependent reality of life on earth, even though it is real. That's why we pray, to remember every day, to see beyond the limitations of our own eyes, to see morning and afternoon and evening that we are part of an interconnected, interdependent oneness. That just because that oneness is invisible to our eyes doesn't mean it is not real. That we're not each separate from the whole, even though it appears that we are. That what we can see is only a fraction of what is real. That's why our people are commanded in this parsha to take their very best produce, their choicest livestock and fruits, as sacrifices to Jerusalem, to the temple, to the house of God. Rabbi Rachel Adler notes that in the Anchor Bible, Jacob Milgram translates the root Allah, Ayin Lamed He, Yichis over here, which is the root for the word, for the primary kind of sacrifice, Olah, to mean not only ascend, but also disappear. She suggests maybe the Olah is meant to greet God in God's language of elusiveness and concealment, sending above an offering similar to what God sends below. In other words, our people are commanded to take visible, living animals and acknowledge that their source is invisible. And at the same time, they're commanded to take single creatures and remember that they are part of a greater whole. To move from, I have a cow that I could eat for dinner, to, I am sustained by an entire living system of sun and rain and soil and plants and animals, and even though the system as a whole is beyond what I can see, it is real, and it is the source of my dinner. That's also why our parsha calls upon our people to reject idolatry, because idolatry is the attempt to address the limitations of what we can see by making God visible and tangible. But the problem is that a visible, tangible idol is a part of the whole, a rock or a tree or a piece of wood or stone, broken off, made separate from the whole, from the oneness, and worshipped as if it were the oneness. It's a denial of the interdependent, interconnected reality. If we think we're separate, if we think we're parts, that the parts are not interconnected and interdependent, we underestimate the impact of our actions. This is what you taught us. We become discouraged because we often cannot see the blessing that comes from the good things we do. And if we think we're separate and detached from everything else, we fail to see the curses that befall us as a consequence of the wrongs that we do. This week, I had an opportunity to speak on a Zoom with a person who is currently in an ICE detention facility. He has done nothing wrong, and yet he has been taken from his wife and his daughter and is in danger of being deported to El Salvador, possibly to the Sicat prison, where he may be executed. Seeing this sweet man's face brought tears to my eyes. His smile and his gentle voice melted me. To hear the chaos behind him in the detention facility, to sense the threat of violence that is defining his life right now, was terrible. Most of us, most of the time, aren't seeing this, so it might not seem entirely real to us. Similarly, when Rabbi Trailer and I participated in civil disobedience in front of the Israeli consulate a couple of weeks ago to protest the refusal of the government to seek hostage deals and to protest its continuation of the war now into Gaza City, and to protest the unconscionable, immoral mass starvation in Gaza, we were holding two photographs. One of Gali and Ziv Berman, two brothers who are believed to still be alive in the tunnels of Gaza, 685 days after they were taken hostage, and who are the cousins of one of our members here at CBE. And the other photo was of a starving Palestinian child with their back turned to the camera so that we could see their emaciated spine and shoulder blades. Our civil disobedience was an attempt to make their suffering more visible so that it will end. For the most part, we cannot see the 180,000 people who already have been deported by the Trump administration, or the 60,000 people who are currently in ICE detention. For the most part, we can't see the hostages in the tunnels. For the most part, we can't see the hundreds of thousands of people in Gaza who are experiencing catastrophic malnutrition, also known as famine, meaning they are starving to death. AP and Reuters have reported that 271 people already have died of starvation, including 112 children. Experts say that we are very, very close to that number being in the thousands or hundreds of thousands. Every one of us must act immediately to stop this. The people who are doing these cruel things are clearly not able to see that they are related to their victims. They're enemies who've inflicted profound trauma upon each other. The Hamas soldiers keeping hostages in tunnels for almost 2 years. The Israeli ministers and soldiers blockading food aid are clearly unable to see that they're part of the same human family as the starving captive people that they are harming. They are not able to see that they're actually dependent upon one another. If we lived there, we might not be able to see it either. But the truth is that our people, the Jewish people, the people of Israel, will not be safe or free until Palestinians are safe and free and equal. And Palestinians will not be free or safe or equal until they signal to Israelis that they'll allow them to live in the land as safe and free and equal too. Neither people will have what they need until the other also has what they need. Neither of them will have well-being until the other also has well-being. We are dependent upon one another. The Jewish leaders in our country who are silent about masked men snatching people, innocent people off the streets, imprisoning them and deporting them. The Jewish leaders who are silent about starvation in Gaza, who make a carefully crafted statement and that's it, who do not advocate, who do not try to stop this, but are standing idly by, are clearly not able to see the manifold curses that are coming from this horrific sin upon our own heads. And even if that wasn't true, it is wrong. If only we all could see that we are one living system in a mutuality, that we are not detached, that we are not separate, but that the pain we are causing or silently abetting hurts us and the people we love. We cannot control the actions of other people. All we can do is control our own. Your message, Ami, is the truth that we must hold closest when we feel powerless over actions and inactions being taken in our names as Jews and as Americans. No matter who we are, our words and our actions have ripple effects far beyond what we can see. Whether you're a rabbi with a platform or any person, the whole world is in a delicate balance. It really is. And every action we take, every word we speak, does tip that balance like the wings of a butterfly. It's true. Let us trust and believe in what we cannot see. The cells of our body, the galaxies we're moving through, the interdependence of life on earth, the blessings and the curses inherent in every act we take and every word we speak. And please, now, let us choose blessing. Can you hear that, son?